Hey guys, Chauncey Phillips here with my brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shop video today. They're gonna go out today, see what things came out, see what things are on sale. I know today though some of the big releases that come out are Incredibles 2 and Christopher Robin, and I believe there's gonna be some exclusive ones of those. I think Target's gonna be having like digibooks for both of those, and Best Buy should be having steelbooks. Also today, since it's the first Tuesday of the month, Walmart changes out the actual section and should be getting in a whole bunch of new like indie horrors and comedies and stuff. So definitely look forward to seeing the new stuff that they get in. Also, Target's gonna be having this one thing that I really want to try and find, mainly just because of the packaging that it's in. So I'm definitely going to try and find that. It should be pretty much everywhere as far as I can tell. And then also though, at the end of this video is going to be a whole bunch of new DVD and Blu-ray reviews for some things I received to review and talk about for you guys. Some really cool stuff like some really cool box sets, the Big Lebowski bowling ball set, this cool Robin Williams set from Time Life, as well as a whole ton of other stuff as well. So definitely stay tuned for all that at the end of this video. But anyway though guys, let's get going and see what we can find today.
Into Target we go.
And I'm here a little earlier today, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that all this stuff is put out. Because like I said, there's one thing in a specific box that I really want to get, mainly just because of the the packaging in it is really cool. It's one of those things though where last time around though, it kept on being on sale, but they already released their Black Friday sale, pamphlets already and stuff online, and it didn't have it on it. So I don't think they're already going to have it for that. I don't know though.
Well, they didn't put anything out. They only put out the Incredibles 2, so I'm going to have to head later to another Target because there's one big, big thing I want to try and find here, but we'll go to another one later. But first, we're going to head over to Walmart. Into Walmart we go.
And I'm actually going to head to another Walmart later as well, because I think I might have actually found a location that has the VHS slipcover. So we'll see later. Hopefully they end up having it, but it looks like they should at least have some.
Hey, that one's 1996. I'm going to be talking about that one at the end of this video. Also, Doctor Who, the Tom Baker years was today. That's 1996 as well. This film here called Mara. So I talked about this one, I believe, last week. American Dresser was today. That one's 1296 for the Blu-ray. This one shows Succession came out. I don't know much about this one. If you guys have seen this one, let me know how this one was. And then over here in the actual section, though, I'll show you guys some of the new stuff, because like I said, there's a bunch of stuff that came out today. There are some empty gaps, though, but I am going to the other Walmart, so I'll see if that one has the stuff. But today, though, this one, A Prayer Box was today, Breaking Brooklyn, The Sound of Music Live, which is from Shout Factory. I'm going to talk about this one at the end of this video, as well as My Pet Dinosaur. This one is a Walmart-only exclusive one, so you guys can only get this one in stores at Walmart, as well as this Keanu Reeves Winona Ryder film, Destination Wedding. This one I might get. It kind of looked like a fun movie. I believe there's only a DVD of this, no Blu-ray, as well as Girls vs. Gangsters was today. Then a bunch of different Christmas ones here. Christmas Manger, Christmas on the Coast, This Is Our Christmas, Interview with God was today. This Julianne Moore film, Belcanto. Like I said, a lot of stuff. Living Pablo, Crooked Somebody. And then Papillon released today with Rami Malek as well. I really like this remake. This one, I think Target should have a Blu-ray, so hopefully the next Target I go to has the stuff out so I can get the Blu-ray of that, because I really like that movie a lot. Other than that, though, the newest Sharknado here came out. Sharknado, It's About Time. That's the final film in the series. And then this one here, Heaven and Hell. I believe this was today, as well as another Walmart-only exclusive one, Krampus Origins. So I'm going to be talking about this one at the end of this video. Mother Krampus came out today as well. Mother Krampus 2, as well as this anthology film called Blood, Sweat, and Terrors. Other than that, though, that seems to be all of the major new things in here today. Like I said, we're going to go to another Walmart, and I think they're going to have the VHS cover, so fingers crossed. Into the second Target we go. And I actually see a standee out here. It's the one for Christopher Robin, and that one's $22.99 for the Blu-ray of that. And then the Incredibles one here, this is $32.99 for the digibook here. It's actually a really big digibook here. This has a filmmaker gallery and storybook inside of this one. And this is, like I said, $32.99 for the 4K. The standard Blu-ray is $22.99. It seems like they've got a bunch of copies of this. I don't see the Christopher Robin one. That might be over in the sections. I'll have to check the actual section to see if they have that over there. And actually, right in the front over here, they have the Christopher Robin one here. That one's $29.99. This includes a limited edition storybook in this release. So this is actually pretty cool. And I should be having a review of this one soon. I have not actually seen this one yet, so definitely interested in watching that. They have Black Klansman here as well for $22.99. I don't see Papillon, so hopefully they have that one over in the actual section, but we shall see. The one thing over here that I wanted was the newest Stranger Things one, the VHS box. I'm gonna have them get that out of the back, but they did have Papillon over here for $19.99, so I'm definitely gonna get that one. They have Loving Pablo over here as well, but hopefully they can find that Stranger Things one in the back. Air Force One also came out today for $19.99 on 4K. I hadn't seen this one in such a long time, but hopefully they can find it. Well, they couldn't find it in there. I did get the Papillon one, but I'm gonna have to head to another Target later and see if I can find the 4K one. They couldn't actually find the Blu-rays either. They were in the back somewhere, but there was no luck at all. Well, I'm actually back in the same Target. I called the other one that thought had the 4K, and they said that they think it's just still on the truck, like being shipped, and none of the ones around here. So I'm back in the same Target. I'm gonna see if they can find the one in the back again. They're gonna look for the standard Blu-ray. If not, I'll have to drive to another one. It's like a crazy thing to try and find that. Well, luckily enough, they were able to find it in there. I was in there for like 25 minutes, but they found it. And I actually think this is a cooler case than the last time around. The other one, the 4K one, has like a different image though, and it has, I think it might be red down the bottom, but they couldn't find it. Like I said, like they had all the locations nearby. They weren't seeing it at all. So I don't know. I mainly got this just for the case. I really like the box, and I feel like this one looks even more like an old school VHS in the first season. So really am glad to have actually found this one. But if you guys, you know, found this, let me know. And if you guys saw the 4K in any of your locations, because it seems like hardly anyone have actually gotten the 4K today, at least as far as I could tell. But here's a little bit of a closer look at this. Like I said, really does have an old school look. On the side on here, definitely really does look like a total VHS. Like I said, even more than the first season. Target's going to be having some exclusive VHSs soon for like Jaws, Backdraft, I think like Fast and Furious High. Hopefully those ones are not hard to find when they come out. I don't know when the release date is, but hopefully I can find those. But now over to the other Walmart. Into the second Walmart we go. And like I said though, it looks like from looking at online, this one should have those VHS slipcovers that I've been looking for the last like 3 weeks. We'll see though. Hopefully they're out, but as far as I can tell, it looks like they should be. Well, they actually have all these ones in here. Some of these ones just have a piece of paper over the front of them like this, like a paper, but then other ones of them are in actual, you know, full slipcover cases here, like for Home Alone 2, Dirty Dancing. Like, yeah, Space Jam is just a cover, little paper in the front. But I'm going to go through here and figure out which ones I'm going to get. I know for sure the one that I've been really trying to find, this is the one top one I want, is Happy Birthday to Me. This one's $7.55, but they have like Godzilla, Fatal Attractions, Who's Harry Crumb, you know, the Edward Scissorhands, Princess Bride. So lots and lots of different ones here. Meatballs. And they all have like the thing like this. They're really, really pretty cool. Power Rangers, Sandlot, but I'm definitely going to get this one for sure. Yeah, so in there I ended up getting the Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers one, which I really like this one. That was only $5. The Happy Birthday to Me one. It has that sticker on there. I tried to get it off on one of the other ones to see how hard it was to get off. I don't think it's possible. If you guys know like a trick to remove that, let me know, but I don't want to ruin the whole cover trying to get it off. And I did end up getting the Destination Wedding one in there. I do want to see that one. Like I said, I think it might be on Amazon, but I don't know. I'm always a fan of Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves, so I kind of wanted to get it. But the Happy Birthday to Me one was only ever released in the past in the US as a double feature one that had What a Stranger Calls as well. Oh, I'm pretty sure though this one has the original music, because there was an old DVD, I don't know if you guys remember, years back that came out that had All Chains music, and it was like really cheesy stuff. For some reason they had like rights issues to the music and everything, but love the cover, and that one really works good as a VHS style cover. And like today, like I feel like I've been driving all around everywhere to find this, but can't wait to believe I finally actually saw these in person and found them. And I know today this video is really, really long. I know there's lots of reviews at the end and everything. It's definitely like, I think this might end up being one of the longest shopping videos I've ever put up, but at least we found this stuff. Well, I was in the car messing with this, and I got it off, but look, see, the stickiness is, it's not coming off. It got a little squiggled up like right there, but it's still better, but there's no way of getting this off, I don't think. In this past weekend, I saw a couple of different films. The first one I saw was Tyler Perry's new film, Nobody's Fool, which is actually the first R-rated comedy he's ever done. It's basically about Tiffany Haddish's character, who just got out of prison and goes to stay with her sister. And her sister, you know, is always talking about her boyfriend. And, you know, she's actually never met this boyfriend. It's like an online boyfriend. And Tiffany Haddish's character is like, oh, I'm sure it's a catfish. This guy is probably not at all who he says he is. And it's like she ends up, you know, contacting the catfish guys. It was kind of cool to see both the catfish guys acting in the movie. I actually thought it was a really fun movie. I have liked most of Tyler Perry's movies.
And this one, though, the Madea character's not in this one, but it was kind of cool, though, to see him doing like a really, really outrageous R-rated comedy. The other one that I saw was the biopic on Freddie Mercury, which is, Bohemian Rhapsody, which stars Rami Malek. And I have to say, though, Rami Malek, he did an amazing job in it. Always been a fan of him, for Mr. Robot, but I still did think it was, really well done for the most part. And then the last one I saw was the Suspiria remake, or Suspiria reimagining, which is from the director of Call Me By Your Name, and that's stars Dakota Johnson's character. And the movie, though, it's not like it's similar to the original in that it's at a girls ballet dance academy, and then the people there are witches, the people that run it. But other than that, though, it's very, very different the way things go with the characters and everything like that. And also, it doesn't have the same color scheme that the original film had with like the bright reds and the blues and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't have any of that. It has a really like drabby, dark, kind of like raining all the time. And I don't know, I thought, though, it had this feeling where it really, it was 2 hours and 35 minutes, and it really felt like it could have been trimmed down a little bit, because it's one of those movies where, there's some movies where if it's really long, it works, and it's like, has a lot of character development and everything. This one just had some stuff that felt like not a whole lot was being added to some of the scenes, and if it was like trimmed down a little bit, it would have flowed a little bit better. And like, it has some stuff, that is really, really insane with like that happens, like this one scene and stuff. It is like really, really gory, but it wasn't absolutely amazing. I still did like it, though. I like Thom Yorke's music in it. From Radiohead, he did all the music in it. If you guys saw either of those movies, though, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of them, or what you guys saw this past weekend, if you guys got to see anything.
Into Best Buy we go. But in here today, like I mentioned, some of the things that came out today was The Incredibles 2, and they have the 4K Steelbook one of that one. That's actually a pretty cool Steelbook of the washing machine with the Mr. Incredible suit being washed. I thought there was a Christopher Robin one, but I'm not seeing that. And there's a few Steelbooks that came out today, exclusives. I think these might have been today, the Super Troopers 1 and 2 for $29.99, as well as the Rocky Collection. I believe that released today. And then over here, I saw a couple other ones today, like Phantasm Remastered for $19.99, Train to Busan, that was today, as well as the Death Proof 2-film collection. That's pretty cool. That released today. And I believe this was also today, The Shape of Water limited edition Steelbook. I'm not 100% certain, though. And there's a couple other ones that I think are new, like Isle of Dogs. I may be wrong, though. And this is another one that I feel like might have been new as well, this Justice League one I don't remember seeing. And then over here, too, I saw this one thing that was kind of cool. This Christmas edition here of Deadpool for $34.99, the 4K, which comes with this pen here, as well as 4 bonus postcards. And like I said, that one's $34.99. Other than that, though, that seems to be all of the new things in here that I'm noticing today.
So anyway, though, guys, that's all for this DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Definitely was a really, really big release week today. Lots of exclusives and stuff, and I think I picked up like the most stuff I picked up in a really long time. In the comments below, though, let me know what you guys picked up today, if you guys picked up anything. Also, let me know what you guys thought of the titles I reviewed at the end of this video. What you guys thought of them and everything like that. And if you guys, have checked any of them out. Also, like I always say, too, if you guys enjoy these videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Now, stay tuned for the new DVD and Blu-ray reviews. And the first one I got here is from Shout Factory Scream Factory line. It's a brand new collector's edition here of the film Trick or Treat, and I really love the brand new artwork on this one. It also has, reversible artwork as well for the original poster art on this one. I actually saw this film at Comic-Con. They had an early screening of this one. I think it released, 2007 on DVD and Blu-ray in October, but I saw a screening that was, in July at the San Diego Comic-Con. And I believe, Anna Paquin was there. I can't remember everyone else that was there. I think the director was there. A couple other cast members, but it was really cool to see that in like a big group like that. I think around the same time I saw Lost Boys The Tribe, the same kind of way, like the whole cast was there for that, and like they're sitting in the audience watching. It was just a cool way to see it. But if you guys don't know this film, it's a really, really cool horror anthology film. It's not like the typical anthology where it's like one story, then it's another story, then it's another story. This one, all the stories interconnect, so it's like a little bit of one story, then to another story, then back to the other story, then some of the other story, and you also like see things from different perspectives, and sometimes too in the scenes, you know, they're doing the one story, but then you see like the characters kind of cross the scene or something like that in the background and stuff. So a really cool way they did this. The biggest, you know, character, you know, story that I always think of in this one is the character of Sam, who is trick-or-treating that night, and he's, you know, wearing this, you know, really creepy costume. You're kind of wondering who is on this costume, and it's like some really weird stuff is going on, and his character connects to another character. Like I said, they all kind of connect together, and it also deals with like this bus crash that happened and all sorts of things. I don't want to ruin anything about this if you guys have not watched this, but it's just a really, really, you know, fun anthology film. Also love the character too, who's putting like razor blades in the chocolate, and like the one kid that, you know, comes to the house is the one who was in the Bad Santa films. I don't know, this is just one of those movies when I think of like anthology films in the last, like, you know, because this is 2007, like, you know, 10, 11 years. This is probably one of the most memorable ones in a really long time, and definitely one that holds up, is a must-watch. Has a whole bunch of features on here. It has brand new interviews on here with the writer and director, as well as the storyboard artist. Interviews on here that are new with the composer on here. Archival commentary track with the director. Additional scenes. It has as well in here some special effects, you know, comparisons to the school bus scene on this one, theatrical trailer, but lots and lots of stuff on this one. Really, really great release. The next one here is from Shout Factory as well. Just want to let you guys know that this one is available, and this is The Sound of Music Live. This is like, you know, they've done you know, this was also done, you know, captured with 17 cameras on 3 sound stages, you know, live. There's been a lot of live ones. I pretty much have watched all of them. There's been like Grease live, Christmas Story live, Hairspray live. I don't know. I really like the fact that they can put on a whole musical like this totally live, and you know, they cross between like outside, and they have to go from other stages, and they find interesting ways too of how to kind of do set changes, and like, I don't know, it's just a really interesting thing to watch and to see how, like, to put things like that together. Like I said, I've watched tons of these ones, but I want to let you guys know that this one is available. This has on here a commentary track on this one, as well as the behind-the-scenes featurette on this release. And the next one here is from Lionsgate. It's a movie here called Final Score, which stars Batista, Ray Stevenson, and Pierce Brosnan. You know, Dave Batista, you know, did an amazing job on this. I've always been a fan of him in the last couple of years. You know, he was recently in Hotel Artemis, which I really liked. Of course, he's in the Guardian of the Galaxy films. But this one, though, this is a really cool movie. And this is essentially, though, he takes his niece, you know, he's in the UK to see his niece, and he ends up taking her to this, a football game, you know, a soccer game, or, you know, in the UK is called football. Takes her to a football game. And essentially, though, there ends up being these Russian terrorists that end up going in there, and they have kind of locked down the place. And of course, though, Batista doesn't know about this going on. No one in the whole, you know, audience watching you know, the football game knows that this is happening. They're kind of doing this up in the, you know, in the stands and stuff like that, like where they control like the cameras and all that kind of stuff. So no one knows this is happening. But Batista goes to get a hot dog and some food and stuff, and his niece ends up, you know, going off to see her boyfriend, and he's like, she gets lost. And of course what ends up happening, though, is Batista ends up finding out about what's going on here, and these Russian terrorists are there. And basically, though, the guys there, the terrorists, are looking for a certain person. They're having like all the cameras scanned. They're trying to track down one specific person, but they've planted like explosives underneath of the, you know, underneath of like the piles and stuff like that, like of the stands and the bleachers and everything. And like I said, all this is going on while no one else is aware watching the game. And essentially, though, Batista's character has to try and find his niece, and it becomes sort of like a Die Hard type film about him trying to, you know, stop what's going on. And it's a really cool movie. I thought they did an amazing job putting this together. It is like, it's a total like Die Hard vibe film. But like they even have one guy Batista ends up, you know, up against in one point. They found someone that was even bigger than him, like this huge guy that's like, maybe has like a foot on Batista. But it was like, this is one I highly, highly recommend you guys to check this out. If you guys have seen this one, let me know what you guys thought of it. But absolutely, it's just such a fun movie. Love this one so much. It has on here, though, a commentary track on here, as well as deleted scenes on this. The next one here is from Lionsgate as well. It's a movie here called Juliet Naked, which stars Rose Byrne, Ethan Hawke, and Chris O'Dowd. And this is essentially, though, about Rose Byrne and Chris O'Dowd are a couple, and they've been married for a while, but recently, Chris O'Dowd's character, within the last couple years, has become totally obsessed with Ethan Hawke, who was this rock musician. His character was a rock musician that had, like, couple hits and then totally vanished off the face of the earth. No one knows where he went. No one knows anything about him. He just totally disappeared after this sort of hit and then was just gone. And he runs this message board kind of with a couple other people who are on there. There's like 300 people, and they're on there talking all the time. It's a message board's fan site talking about Ethan Hawke's character, like what they think, you know, he's up to, where they think he is, if they think they spotted him anywhere, if they have any like closer to figuring out exactly where he is. They're all totally obsessed, but because of Chris O'Dowd's character being like real obsessed with this, you know, his relationship is kind of falling apart a little bit because he's kind of putting so much time in this whole thing and so worried about the whole thing. But what ends up happening is one day he gets sent, you know, because he has like a fan account where people can send mail about the, you know, Ethan Hawke's character, this demo CD of you know, the demo versions of some of these songs that Ethan Hawke's, you know, character made. And because of that, Rose Byrne's character starts listening to it, and she hears the stuff as well and says, oh, that really wasn't great music. It was okay. And she writes that on the message board. And because she, you know, gave it some crap and, like, talked down about the stuff, Ethan Hawke's character actually reaches out to her, and it's her talking to the guy that, you know, her husband had been trying to find for forever and obsessed with, and it's kind of them talking back and forth, and she starts to find out about what Ethan Hawke's character is up to and what's happening, and it's kind of them starting to talk, and it puts like a strain on everything. But I really like this one. This is like a really, really well done character piece, and it's from, you know, the author of About a Boy in High Fidelity, which I liked, you know, really loved both of those films as well, and he was the writer of those books that the films were based on. But definitely recommend you guys check this one out. And it has on here a making of featurette on this one. The next one here is from Lionsgate, and this is also a A24 title, and this is a movie here called The Children Act, which stars you know, Emma Thompson, Stanley Tucci, and Finn Whitehead. And this is basically, though, about this kid who has this, you know, is really, really sick, and because of his religion and everything, you know, he can't have a blood transfusion, which would help, you know, help him and would potentially cure him of what is going on with him. But, you know, Emma Thompson's character is the person who is the judge who's kind of listening to this whole, what is happening, and kind of has to pass judgment on if, you know, they should go against what the kid wants and what the family says and actually make this happen and give him this transfusion that will, like I said, potentially save his life. But it's dealing with, though, Emma Thompson's character, you know, her relationship with her husband, played by Stanley Tucci, and they have a very strained relationship, and things about them is falling apart, and it's like, it's dealing with her, dealing with her own relationship, as well as trying to hear about with this kid and talking to this kid who's sick, and it's like sort of about like a character study on all of this, and her trying to figure out what is the right thing to do, and while at the same time kind of trying to keep her own relationship together, and it's a really interesting film here. It has on here, though, a commentary track on here with the writer and director, but definitely an interesting one here. The next one here is from Lionsgate as well, and this is a you know, a TV you know, film that aired on the Investigation Discovery channel. This is a, you know, I don't know if they've done a lot of films on there before or not. I know they've done like reenactments and things like that, and like cases on like mysteries and murderers and that kind of stuff. But this is a serial killer film on the serial killer was it was Rodney Alcala, who was, you know, nicknamed the Dating Game Killer, and this movie here is called The Dating Game Killer. This stars Guillermo Diaz, who I always think of from Half-Baked. He did a really great job in this movie, and I remember I heard a lot about this serial killer because, like I said, because he was the dating game killer, and he went on the dating game, and he was someone that was believed to have killed, you know, he was convicted of killing like, I think it was like 10 women, but they believe that it was like maybe it been up to 130, but he actually went on there and won the dating game, but the woman, you know, thought that this guy was really creepy and didn't go on the date with him, which was a really good thing that she didn't go on the date with him. But this is essentially, though, about the story of him, this serial killer, and the detective who, because of something that this serial killer did in the very beginning to this kid, he has been you know, following him and trying to find him for years, and it's kind of about his whole following this guy, and you know, this, you know, his character too. It was based on, like I said, this is a real person. He was, you know, arrested many times for these rapes and all kinds of horrific things that he did, but then he was getting out, and then he would change his identity, and like he was working at this kid's camp, and he would go and change around in professions and all this stuff. But this is just a really well done movie, all about him and kind of the ultimate capture of him and how it all went down. But really would highly recommend you guys check this out. Really well done. Like I said, I don't know if the Investigation Discovery channel has done a lot of films or not, but I definitely look forward to seeing more if they do like these type of, you know, subject matter ones like serial killer and like murder mysteries and that kind of stuff, because this was definitely, they did my favorite Time Life releases in here. But first I'll show you guys, it has a booklet, a big booklet here that has pictures with Robin Williams here, and pictures from his stand-up acts, his comedy acts, and kind of quotes from him, and all kind of stuff in here. But the thing that's so cool about this set, though, is the stuff that is in here, and it's some really rare stuff that I don't think had ever been released in any form, and would be like impossible to get. But a really cool set. I'm going to go through though what's in here. So the first one in here, and I love the artwork and the images they use on this set. But it has on here, this first one is a 6 DVD set, which includes all 5 of Robin Williams stand-up comedy specials that were on HBO, and it has like rare archival footage of you know, early stand-up with Robin Williams. It has never before seen footage from Robin Williams' USO tour. It has rare HBO promo shots and press interviews talking about the specials. And also in here, like I said, here's what the discs look like in this. And then throughout, I'm just going to go through all the other ones as well. This one has, this is 6-disc set as well. It has the first 6 episodes of Mork and Mindy, the best of Robin Williams' late night appearances, which is so cool. It has on here the you know, with Jay Leno, his interviews, as well as Saturday Night Live footage on here as well, the Saturday Night Live episodes that he was on. It has a 2018 documentary on Robin Williams. It was on HBO. It was a really well-done documentary. Newly produced featurettes as well on here. The next one, like I said, I love these images that they use on these. This one has Robin Williams' never before released stand-up from the MGM Grand, rare footage from Robin Williams' final tour, All-Star Toast Improv, 5 more episodes of Mork and Mindy, more stuff on here with late night with Jimmy Kimmel and Johnny Carson, SCTV skits. And then the last one in here is this has the best of Robin Williams' UK appearances, like Graham Norton show. Which I loved Graham Norton. Like Graham Norton is probably one of my favorite interviewers. Like those are the ones I always look at online and stuff, and I've been a fan of him for years. But they have stuff with him on here, with Dame Edna's Hollywood, the best of Robin Williams' award show performances when he appeared on presenting and things like that. Clips from Robin Williams' Hollywood Walk of Fame. But just a really great release. If you guys are fans of Robin Williams, this is definitely a must pick up set. Like I said, this one is exclusively available on Time Life, but really cool set here. And the next one here is from Universal, and this is another really cool set here. This is the 4K Ultra HD edition here, the 25th anniversary limited edition gift set here of The Big Lebowski, which is such a fun movie, directed by the Coen brothers. And I'm going to show you guys what this looks like, because that's the big thing to show with this set. And it's inside of a bowling ball case. So you get a bowling ball bag, and then inside of the bowling ball bag, I'll show you guys how it says like Big Lebowski down here. The really well designed look on this. But inside of here you get an actual mini bowling ball that says Big Lebowski inside of here, as well as the Blu-ray, the 4K Blu-ray is inside of the dude's sweater. So that's really cool. Inside of here, you get the Blu-ray. 4K wise though, this looks great. A really great job cleaning up this film. And I always say with 4K, the big thing is the HDR, the high dynamic range. And that's all like the contrast levels, and then like the darkness levels to like the more contrast to the scenes. Also, I always notice too, the big thing is brightness. The brightness level, it's such much more boosted picture, and everything everything all around just looks like a brighter image and everything. This is a great movie, though, about mistaken identity, about these guys that are going to get money from the dude, and they mix up the Lebowski's name, and they think that they're, you know, the dude, you know, Jeff Bridges' character is the person they're actually trying to get, and they mix it all up. And because of that, though, something ends up happening to the dude's rug, and the rug goes to find the real Lebowski to get him to, you know, clean the rug or replace the rug or do something about the rug, and it becomes a whole big thing that happens. It's just a really, really fun movie. It has on here lots of different features on here: the making of Big Lebowski, interactive map, Jeff Bridges photo gallery, another photo gallery on here, the Big Lebowski 10 years later. So lots and lots of stuff in here, but a really cool release. And I love, like, it has like the dude's sweater here, like I said, and then the bowling ball in this. So definitely a very cool release if you guys are a fan of the film. And the next one I got here from Universal as well is Spike Lee's new film here, BlacKkKlansman. This is based on a true story about the first African-American cop in this town in Colorado. It's basically about him kind of working on this division. He's pretty much heading up this whole division where he wants to go and infiltrate and pretty much bring down the KKK operation, because there's this big operation that he believes is there in town. It's essentially about him calling up and talking to the head of the KKK and then, like, infiltrating into the group there. But he couldn't actually go to the meetings or anything since he's an African American. So what he's doing is working with Adam Driver, who's a fellow cop that he works with. And he's basically having Adam Driver go to the meetings and meet up and kind of talk to them and see them face to face. And they're both working together. And they have to pretty much communicate with each other to make sure that they're kind of knowing exactly what he was saying over the phone to them. But then there's, like, they run into sort of situations, though, where they're like, well, you sound a little bit different. And he's like, oh, I was a little different over the phone. And there ends up being all kind of, like, little complications that go on, you know, with them along the way and everything. But this is really, really well done. I will say, though, it's very sad. It's really sad to see, like, the kind of stuff that was going on back then. And, like, I don't know, I just was really, really got emotional watch this movie. I won't lie, at the end of this, I was really, like, teared up and everything. But it really was a very well done movie. I've always been a fan of Spike Lee. I think my favorite movie of his, well, two of my favorites are 25th Hour. I really love that movie, and Bamboozled, which is one you don't hear about too much, which was, like, one of the few, like, serious roles that Damon Wayans was in, but really, really like this one a lot. This has on here, though, a conversation with Ron Starworth, who's the person that this was based on, who was the cop, the African-American cop, talking with Jordan Peele and the cast, talking about working on this project, as well as the BlacKkKlansman extended trailer featuring Prince's Mary Don't You Weep song on that. The next one here is from Warner Brothers, and they sent over a free copy of this one to let you guys know about. This is Teen Titans Go to the Movies. This is based on the Teen Titans, Go series. Teen Titans was, a number of years back was the original Teen Titans, and then this is based on the newest rendition of Teen Titans. This is just a really fun film here. Essentially, though, this is about, like, all the superheroes are kind of starting to get their own films, and then the Teen Titans, especially the Robin's character, is kind of mad that they're not having their own film being made about them. So it's him trying to figure out exactly how he's going to go and get Hollywood to produce a movie about them, and it's just all kind of the things that happen and everything. But it's a really, really fun movie, especially if you guys are a fan of the series. Would definitely recommend you guys check this out. A lot of different, like, voice, cameos and stuff, like big people, doing cameos and voices in this one as well. This has on here, though, music videos with Little Yachty music videos, 3 sing-alongs, some featurettes, WB Lots Shenanigans, Superhero Girls short, The Late Batsby, and Red Carpet Mayhem deleted scenes as well on this one. And the next one I got here from Warner Bros. As well. They sent over a free copy of this one as well to let you guys know that this one was available. This is the brand new 4K Ultra HD edition here, which includes the Blu-ray, the digital copy, and all of them, include the theatrical version of the film, and it's Superman the movie, the original Superman film, directed by Richard Donner, starring Christopher Reeves, Gene Hackman, Margaret Kidder is in this movie. To me, when I think, too, of Superman, I feel like Christopher Reeves was always the ultimate Superman. He really looked the part. He did such an amazing job. I thought the other Superman films, though, were all... I enjoyed all the other ones, one with Brendan Rath, and then, of course, the more recent one, Man of Steel, and then the films that came after it with the most recent Superman. But to me, like I said, I just think of this, Christopher Reeves is the ultimate Superman. I thought he did such a good job. This is just such a fun film, all about Superman ended up coming to Earth because of what ended up happening to his planet, and he ends up getting sent to Earth. And by coming to Earth, he ends up developing his powers, and then it's all about him like learning about his powers, and then of course him dealing with Lex Luthor and all of the battles and everything that he goes through. It's just, and then of course, you know, working at the Daily Planet undercover, and you know, as Clark Kent, when all he has to do to be undercover is wear the glasses. And I always thought that was such a funny thing, that all he had to do was wear the glasses, and no one had any clue that he was Superman. But 4K wise though, this looks amazing. If you guys, you know, are a fan of this film, it's definitely a huge improvement and definitely a must upgrade. Like I always say too, 4K, the big thing that you always notice is the contrast levels, which is the HDR, which has boosted contrast levels, and also the thing it always is really shows too is a lot of details. And I always notice too, the huge thing I always see is colors. It's a much brighter picture, much more vibrant picture. Definitely, you know, looks amazing though. It has on here though a commentary track on here with the producer on this one, on the 4K as well as the Blu-ray. It has the making of Superman the movie 1978 TV special, as well as theatrical trailers and a TV spot on this one. This one here is another really cool release. This is from Criterion Collection, and this is one of probably my favorite of the Criterion releases because of this set that this is in. This is in a, you know, this is the Princess Bride here, and it's actually put into a book. They actually did a total like recreation of the look, and it has the total book look to it and everything. But inside of here, you actually get pages from the actual Princess Bride book, and you know recreations of them. There's images in here, and then it has like some stuff about the movie and like interviews and stuff, as well as some more photos. But this is a really cool release. And on the back too, I left this on here that talks about what's in it, but you get in here as you wish on here. And this is basically though about I'm trying to think of, you know, Peter Falk's character, who is telling his, you know, grandson, played by, you know, Fred Savage, the story of the Princess Bride. He's getting ready to go to sleep, and he's telling him, reading him the story, and it cuts back and forth a couple times, like Fred Savage listening to the story, and it's essentially though about, you know, how this princess, you know, her boyfriend ended up, you know, was presumed dead, and she ended up getting, you know, engaged to marry this prince, and, you know, the prince was going to marry a commoner who wasn't, you know, royal blood and everything, and she was going to be getting married to him. But of course, though, she finds out that the boyfriend is still alive, and he comes to rescue her, and it's like, it becomes like a whole big thing, and the kind of the whole adventure and everything that they go on. What's so funny is, this is the first time I've ever seen this movie. I had never seen this movie before. It's one of those movies, of course, I had always heard about it, but somehow I never saw this. I don't know how, I don't know why, especially because I'm a fan of everybody in this cast, especially too because I always was a fan growing up too of Fred Savage, so I don't know how I didn't see this. And I know they're going to be doing a takeoff on this on the PG-13 cut of Deadpool 2, like the scene with the being read the book and everything. But this has on here a brand new 4K restoration. This looks amazing. It's such a very super colorful, vibrant film. Andre the Giant is in this movie as well. He's really good in this film. Lots of people are in this movie, and it has on here a commentary track on here in 1996 with Rob Reiner, William Goldman, the producer on here, Billy Crystal, Peter Falk, 1987 audiobook on here, edited audiobook of, you know, the reading of the actual book. It has on here archival interviews on here with the actors, programs about fencing and fairy tales, on-set video diaries, you know, filmed by Carrie Ells, 5 behind-the-scenes videos with commentaries on this one. But lots and lots of stuff, but a really great release. And the next one I got here is from CBS Paramount, and this is MacGyver, the complete first season here, released on Blu-ray for the very first time, newly remastered. To say though, they did an absolutely amazing job cleaning up this show. It looks so good. If you guys, you know, have this show already and are interested in, you know, curious about upgrading, it is 100% worth upgrading. They did such a good job cleaning this up. And what's so cool about seeing this in Blu-ray is, you know, when this originally aired, it was airing in standard definition. There was no HD. There was not anything like that. So it's just so cool to actually see this better than it's ever been seen in the past. You know, it's always was seen in, you know, sort of VHS quality throughout all the years when they were airing it. But to see it now on Blu-ray, it looks absolutely amazing. If you guys don't know this show, it's basically, though, about MacGyver's character, who is a secret agent, who's always kind of having to stop things and save the day, and he ends up getting himself, like, captured and has to figure out ways to escape, and he's kind of making, like, weird kind of inventions and weird things that he's, you know, puts together with, like, you know, weird type of things he finds around to save the day, and he ends up, like, having to disarm explosives, and he, you know, comes down to, like, the right last second before it's about to explode, and he has to cut the right wire, and it's just such a really, really fun show. Highly recommend you guys check it out, and if you guys are a fan of this show, show. 100% worth upgrading on Blu-ray. The next one here is from CBS Paramount as well, and this is a show that airs on Showtime. This is Sacha Baron Cohen's newest show, Who is America? And I watched the show when this aired as well. This is actually a really, really well done show, and it's him doing kind of like with the Ali G show, where he's playing different characters. This is all kind of political in nature, and there's like different kind of stuff though too, like going to like a food kind of place, talking to like food reviewers and that kind of stuff. Like one of the characters he has is a guy who recently got out of prison. One of them is this guy who's like a conspiracy theorist guy, and he's always trying to like be like real super PC, and one of them is like works for the army, and he goes and like talks about how to train against like fighting bad people. But of course, like what the whole thing, the show is, it's kind of him trying to get crazy reactions, because it's all real, the stuff he's talking to, and it's kind of like the crazy stuff that people say, and he talks to like a lot of political figures, and the kind of stuff that they're saying is like insane and like super shocking, and it's like unbelievable what is going on, especially like the last episode, what happens. But if you guys are a fan of like the Ali G show and like Borat and Bruno and that kind of humor, when he's doing it all in character and kind of like talking to people and getting like in like these reactions, these things that people, like I said, that people are saying you can't even believe, you know, I would definitely recommend you guys check this out. And it has on here extended interviews as well as never before seen deleted scenes on this one. And then the last one here from CBS Paramount is Elementary, the complete 6th season. Just wanted you guys to know that this one is available. And this is, of course, you know, the Sherlock Holmes character who's working with, you know, Watson, who's played by Lucy Liu. And in this one, though, something has happened to Sherlock, his character, and he's going through you know, he's someone who was super smart, was able to solve these, like, because they work together on solving these, like, really intricate cases and things like that. But something is happening to him where he's starting to sort of lose his memory, and it's sort of him trying to figure out what is happening and how, hopefully, it's not something that's going to be permanent, and that's what's going on in this season. But it's, of course, it's them, like, working on these intricate cases, but because of what's going on with him, it's making it much more difficult. On here, though, it has some featurettes on here: Making a Friends Can Be Murder episode, Elementary Case in Point, as well as deleted scenes on this release here. But like I said, just want you guys to know that this one is available if you guys are a fan of this show. The next ones here, these ones are, I have a link where you guys can order these ones for the best price. But this movie is from The Orchard, and it's a movie here called Stella's Last Weekend, which stars Nat Wolff and Alex Wolff. And both of them were together before the Naked Brothers Band TV show and movie. And this is really cool because their mother directed this movie and stars in the movie playing their mother, and they're in there playing brothers. So this was a really cool to have them all together like this. And it's essentially, though, about Nat Wolff's character, who is coming back from college. He's like on a break, and he's going back to see his mother and his brother, and he's also going back too because their dog is going to get, you know, is getting really old. It's like 17 years old, and they're going to be putting it to sleep, because the dog is asleep because he's not doing well health-wise and everything. That's why it's called Stella's Last Weekend, because Stella is the dog. But it ends up being a whole problem with these two brothers because, you know, Nat Wolff's character is telling his brother how, like, he saw this girl at this party, and they made out, and then he saw her on the train, you know, across the train, you know, going somewhere else, and he's like, oh, I'll probably never see her again. And then, you know, Alex Wolff's character is saying, oh yeah, well, I just started dating this girl and everything, and of course, so it ends up being that girl that he was talking about, and, you know, it becomes awkward, and an awkward thing going on between both of them, because, you know, he doesn't want to tell him that he likes this girl. He just said, oh yeah, we met once before, but he doesn't tell him about how behind his back of the brother, they're kind of kissing and what is happening and everything. But this was just a really well done movie. I'm a big fan of Alex Wolff and Nat Wolff, both of them. You know, Alex Wolff, you know, was recently in Hereditary, and Nat Wolff is in a bunch of different things as well, like Paper Towns and everything. But definitely check this one out, guys. Really interesting movie. This is another one that I had not seen this movie since this first came out in 1999, so I have not seen this movie in a long time. This is the movie called Dick, which stars Kirsten Dunst and Michelle Williams, and it's basically, though, about, and this is from Sony, this is about, you know, Richard Nixon and the whole Watergate thing, about how he actually ended up, you know, getting, you know, leaving the White House and getting impeached, and, or, you know, stepping down and everything. And they kind of make it like like these two were behind that, because in the very beginning they're saying we're not going to tell you who it was that was behind the whole thing, but they're, you know, telling the story about how they were both these girls, you know, 15-year-olds were behind him, you know, getting kicked out of the White House and everything, and it kind of shows how they both went to this you know, to a high school field trip to the White House, and they end up, because in the very beginning of this movie, though, I think it was Michelle Williams' character lives in the Watergate building, and then at night they were walking around the building, and they saw somebody, and the guy thought that they saw the paper stuff and all the kind of stuff that was going on. So then when they're in the White House, the same guy was there, and he's like coming after them, and because of one reason or another, they end up meeting the president, and then they become the president's dog walkers, so they're always around there, and they start finding out about stuff even though they don't know they're finding out about things. But it's just a really fun movie. I love this movie. I literally finished watching this movie like 5 minutes ago, but you know, right before I started doing these reviews. But really fun movie. You know, always been a fan of Kristen Dunst and Michelle Williams, so just really cool to watch this again. And it has a director's commentary on here, deleted scenes, gag reel, blooper reel, making a featurette, and a theatrical trailer on this. This is another one here, and it's from CBS DVD, and I have these, like I said, these last ones are all have a link for where to order these for the best price. Same movie here stars you know, Henry Winkler, called National Lampoon's Dad's Week Off, and I think this was I don't know if, I believe this might have been on HBO or Showtime or something like that years back. And I remember seeing this one when this first came out. Like I think it was released on they were airing it or something like that. I do remember seeing this one, but years back. This is about Henry Winkler and his person that he works with. They invented this really small, tiny computer, like it's like this big, and it's like no one can use it, and they can't write on it, and they cause all sorts of problems with it and everything. Because one reason or another, though, Henry Winkler becomes totally stressed out about the whole thing, and ends up like in the hospital, and he has to kind of take time off from everything, and it's like his dream is to kind of do nothing, and to kind of just wheeze around and have nothing happen and everything in his life. And he sort of starts to have that happen a little bit, but then he has these other things he's dealing with in his life, and these family kind of problems and everything. But it's essentially, though, about little by little things start falling apart and getting really bad. And it's just a really fun, wacky movie. If you guys are a fan of Henry Winkler, definitely would be one I would recommend you guys check out for sure. And the next one here is from Echo Bridge. It's a movie here called Warning Shot, which stars Gamero Diaz, who's in the Dating Game Killer, as I was talking about as well. David Spade is in here, Bruce Dern, James Earl Jones, Frank Whaley. This is essentially, though, about Bruce Dern and his you know, grandson, played by David Spade, who are trying to end up getting the water rights. This one landowner, you know, has this big property, and they're trying to get the water rights from him because they're trying to like get the kind of control the whole town's water. And he's the one owner who hasn't signed over, and he's like totally against it and won't do it. But he ended up passing away, and they didn't know this. And David Spade's character sends these bad guys there to kind of talk him into and rough him up and force him to sign. But when they get there, though, they're there looking around the house, but the guy's daughter and her daughter are coming up to the house to kind of look at the house because like he just passed away, and kind of look at things, and they believe that they may be inheriting this house and the will, which has not been read yet. But when they get there, though, these guys, both of them, kidnap them and are saying, where is the old man that owns this place? Where is he? And then they're trying to get them to sign. They're like, well, aren't you going to own this house then? Can you sign this? And they're like, well, the will hasn't been read yet. It's not going to be read for another week. And they're like, well, we have to sit here and wait. What are we going to do? And it's one of those movies where things start to go worse and worse and worse, and like it gets more and more intense. And you know, Gamero Diaz's character is becoming like crazy and like acting like and screaming and nuts. Like I said, this movie just gets super intense, and things just get worse and worse throughout this movie. But really well done one here. The next ones here are from E1. This movie here is called Krampus Origins. This is about this book that ends up like invoking Krampus, you know, who kind of kills people and everything. But this book, you know, it was like during the war they found this book, and the guy who found it ended up getting killed, and the book ends up getting sent to like the wife, you know, and you know she has it, and she ends up getting a job working at this orphanage. But in the orphanage, there's this woman there who is like kind of obsessed with the occult and like, you know, reading like Wiccan books and that kind of stuff. And she ends up like talking to the kids about it, and some of the kids are kind of fans of this as well. And it's essentially, though, these girls, though, in this school, end up reading from this book, and they end up, you know, invoking Krampus, and it's kind of like the whole situation of really bad things are happening to these people at the school orphanage place, and it's like it's really crazy. It's actually a really fun movie here. This has on here the behind the scenes video and a filmmaker's commentary on this one. This one here is called My Pet Dinosaur, and this one is from E1 as well. And both of these two that I just showed, both of these are Walmart exclusive ones as well that you guys can get exclusively in Walmart. But this one here is called My Pet Dinosaur, and this is basically about this kid who ends up unknowingly creating this dinosaur, and the dinosaur starts growing and everything and getting bigger and everything, and it's like they're trying to hide the dinosaur. The thing that I was obsessing with this movie though was it was shot in Australia, but it was supposed to be in America. So, like, the one scene, the dad's driving the car, but he gets out of the car, but the steering wheel is not on his side. The steering wheel is on the daughter's side. So, like, the car was driving like he was driving it. Like, I don't know. They did that a couple times. I was thinking, like, man, there's something about that. Like, once you see that, and then, like, I wish the guy would have just said, okay, you know, to the daughter, now start the car up. I mean, because it was on the other side. I thought they could have made it like it was a driver's ed car that had 2 steering wheels. But essentially, though, it becomes this whole thing with the government and everything about, like, you know, spying this dinosaur and everything that's happening. But it's like a fun adventure film, kind of like, you know, like a throwback to 80s films though. But besides, you know, like the stuff with the steering wheel stuff, that was just sort of something I kept noticing. But it really was a fun movie. It has on here though behind the scenes featurette, storyboards comparison, and also has an alternate dialogue version of it in French. The next one here is from Mill Creek. This is a really cool set here, and this is Quantum Leap, the complete series here on Blu-ray. And like I was watching through this is just a really fun show. And you know, Mill Creek does an amazing job cleaning up classic shows. Like everyone that I've seen on the Blu-ray releases, they do such a good job. This has all 5 seasons of the show. If you guys don't know, and I'll show you guys what they look like though. It has, you know, season 1 here, and then season 2. And then season 5, a little out of order here, season 4, and then season 3. But essentially, though, this show is about this guy who ended up going through this experiment where he ended up getting trapped in the, like, kind of, he basically goes and leaps between people. So, like, every episode, he ends up going and kind of possessing, you know, he ends up in, you know, taking over somebody else. And Dean Stockwell's character is this hologram who's kind of telling him things, and he's saying, like, he kind of tells him about the person he's taking over for that episode, like, well, you need to, this person, if they don't do this, this person will die, or this person will die in some certain way, and you have to figure out how to stop this, or you have to figure out how to fix this, or this person is going to make this horrible decision. You have to try and, like, figure out how to, you know, do this, but, you know, of course, he can't tell these people that he's, like, possessing this person and taking them over. And he also is kind of hoping, too, throughout the show that he gets to leap back into his own body and get back to where he, you know, came from, but he just keeps on going from person to person to person in each episode. I was thinking, too, I can't think of any other shows like this now, where it's, like, you know, 2 main cast members, and then every episode is a whole new cast and a whole new setting and a whole new everything. But this is a really, really cool show. Really looks great on Blu-ray. And if you guys have never seen this one, or if you guys are fans of this show and wondering, you know, if it's worth picking up the Blu-ray edition of this, highly recommend it. They did, like I said, a really good job cleaning this up. This is another one that's really cool. This is a brand new, you know, 20th anniversary. It's crazy to believe this is 20 years. I remember, like, so well seeing this in theaters. This is Can't Hardly Wait. I don't know, it's one of those movies, you know, I didn't love Middle School, but this is one of those movies I distinctly remember seeing, like, so well. Especially, too, I love the cast, because this has Ethan Embry in here, Lauren Ambrose, you know, who went on to be in 6 Feet Under, which is one of my favorite shows, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Seth Green. This is essentially, though, about on high school graduation party, and it's all kind of about these different characters, and they're all kind of their goals and kind of what they're trying to do. Like Ethan Embry's character is trying to tell Jennifer Love Hewitt's character that he loves her, and then it's like the geeky guy trying to kind of become cool, and Seth Green's character trying to sleep with this one person, and it's like and he gets locked in the bathroom, and it's like Seth Green is my favorite character in this one, but it's like all sorts of problems. But it's just a really fun movie. This has on here 2 commentary tracks on here: 1998 reunion special, deleted scenes, I Can't Get Enough of You Baby, from Smash Mouth music video, and also from from Mill Creek, I wanted to show you. Mill Creek sent over 2 of the actual, Walmart exclusive slipcovers here to show you guys the VHS slipcovers. You guys can only get these ones at Walmart. The first one here is for Kroll, and that these are so cool because, like, on the side you can see, like, they have like the VHS look exactly like the VHS tape. They have the little tab on it, and then the back here, like, they designed exactly like a VHS. And they have on here, like, warning: this video cassette will melt if left in the sun. Have a little sticker right here. These are so cool. They have some other ones available as well, like Happy Birthday to Me, Hard Bodies, and 1 or 2 other ones. But here's the other one that they sent to show as well, and this is Last Action here, which I love this movie. Always loved this movie as a kid. The one guy in this really creeped me out, like the villain in this. But I love how you can see, like, the VHS on the side like this, and right here too, you see, like, the little logo here, that's on the actual tape. And this one has on here Action Adventure, and then Be Kind Rewind right here. Then a look at the back. But these are just so cool. So cool to actually show you 2 of these ones in person. The next ones here are from RLJ Films, and this is a movie, anthology film called Blood, Sweat, and Terrors. And this was actually pretty cool. It's like action, short films, as well as like horror kind of subject matters, and like all kind of different ones, from different directors. It's like, I don't know how many different directors on here. I think it's like 10 or 11, something like that. The one segment, the first one I love though, because it was like these creepy demons, and this guy has to, like, it's the thing that's a shame though was, I was like, man, I would love to see that one as a whole movie too, because it was just such a crazy story about these demons, and set like in hell, and this guy has to try and find the person who killed these person. I don't know, it was really pretty cool, but there was a lot of different really cool, super intense segments on this one. But if you guys like, anthology ones where it's not just horror, it's like I said, it's a bunch of action kind of ones and that kind of stuff in here, definitely check that out. And the next one here is from RLJ Films as well, and this one here is called Beyond the Sky. This is about a guy who really doesn't believe in aliens, and he wants to do a documentary kind of disproving it and kind of showing, like, the falsity to everything. It's kind of him and his friend going around doing this documentary. The friend always has this expression, like, this super serious expression, like, when he's like interviewing the people, but he's like going around like doing these interviews, and he goes to like a sci-fi kind of alien convention where like it's people talking about their encounters and everything. Of course, he's like, they cause like a stir there because they're kind of arguing with one of the guys about his encounter. But then he ends up meeting this girl there, like, and she starts kind of telling about her encounter. And it's like when they're starting to hear about this stuff, they're thinking like, oh yeah, they're talking crazy. But little by little, they start to like, things start to happen, and they start to think, things start to happen, and what they're going through, and like the kind of research that they're discovering and everything, that maybe there might actually be some truth to what is going on here. And of course, they open up like Pandora's box and kind of go into this whole situation of little by little what's going on with them. But this is actually pretty well done, and really, really good effects on this one as well. Dee Wallace is in this movie as well. It has on here, though, a bunch of different interviews on this one. But anyway, though, guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching. Subscribe.